do not even know what I was thinking when I sat on the phone for 2 hours with the passport agency on hold. But I was definitely thinking I was not going to get to the end of that call with them to say, I have no additional information for you. For sure did not think that was going to happen. Welcome back to the Julie Story Comedic Podcast. I don't even know what we're calling this. I've always just called this a Julie Story Podcast. I have a couple names that I'm like tossing around, but if you have any ideas for me, let me know. But for now, right into the story, because I know that you're wondering. I know that this has just been on your mind as much as it's been on my mind. Where is Julie's son's passport? Your guess is as good as mine at this point. I have no idea where it is, if it's coming. We actually had to expedite getting his birth certificate from another state because passport agency has all of our stuff. What a drama. Like, I just can't. I need America to pick a plot line so fast right now because this is what they do. They're like, hey, we absolutely want you to think that you have the freedom to go whenever you want, except in order to go anywhere, you need to have obnoxious amounts of paperwork. Every single paperwork that you're going to bring is wrong. Every single form that you're going to bring is wrong. You're never going to have all the information that you need. We're going to go ahead and make you come back and bring us the correct information. Then when we send off the information to another place completely that you have no idea what it is, what we do, or what we're doing while you're waiting, we're going to go ahead and not communicate with you what's actually going on. And when you call, we're going to put you on hold. And then after 2 hours being on hold, they for sure told me, we cannot give you any additional information. And I'm like, bestie, then why do you have this number online? Like, please tell me, what is the purpose of this? Because I'm not feeling like this was necessary at this point. So we don't have it. I don't have any of the information. I'm in a mode right now. I'm in a vibe right now that it's just gonna work. Not because that's what happens in my life. It's just that I am just choosing that vibe. I'm choosing to be the energy of the person that's like, no, it's fine. It'll all work out. It's fine. Even though I have absolutely no idea how it's gonna work out. Like, producer Dave, you've gotten the eyeballs on this, okay? Fake reality producer of my TV show, because I feel like I'm on the Truman Show. You've gotten the eyeballs, so let's just go ahead and resolve the problem. Like, that's where I'm at this point. Is like, you have gotten the views. Can we just sort this out? Can we just let's just finish this? We'll close this chapter. It's not closed. It's currently still open. So I haven't looked today, but I'm not even gonna look. I have expedited at this point both pieces of documents. I've expedited his passport twice. When I got to the end of that 2 hour, wait, I was literally on the phone for 2 hours on hold listening to the most obnoxious music. Who is the person? I need to talk to the brand representative manager that picks the audio for the hold music. This music is the most grating, annoying, agitating music of all time. And they're like, yes, that is the one. We want this person on hold to not only be frustrated that they're waiting hours, but we also want them to be annoyed. We want them to have a solid headache. Not like a half-seas headache. You know, like when your head kind of hurts a little bit? No. They're going for the full, solid headache. They want us to feel every piece of the moment of waiting. Unnecessary. They could really create a vibe for us, right? Like, they could put I don't know, motivational, positive energy. Please let me sit down. I'll sort this out with them, please. Okay, here's the vision. Imagine this, you're on hold, and it's just motivation, positive vibes. Girl, you know that you're in it. You're looking amazing today. You're showing up as a baddie. That is the vibe that I want. I want that with the good music. Solid. Maybe it just switches off between a chill vibe and then one you can get up and dance to. I want it to be a moment. If I have to be there, make it worth it. But no, they picked the most grating, irritating song. Who are these people that are picking this music? What is the team that sits around? And this is the stuff that I think about when I'm making my TikTok characters. I'm like, put me in the room. When I'm making the TikTok characters, not carriers. When I'm making the TikTok characters, this is what I'm thinking about. Put me in the room with the people that pick this music. Who were they? What were they thinking? What were their names? I feel like there was a Chad in there, probably a Chelsea. But give me, I need to know. I need to know what was happening during this conversation because this music was awful. And I haven't ever gone on hold at somewhere that I'm this is it. This is a vibe. And it could be. It's just it's a missed opportunity. I was on hold this last week, multiple things, multiple customer service, not just my son's passport, but actually the cruise that we're going on. There were some problems. there was their problems. They overpromised and underdelivered. And like when a brand does that, I need them to show up. Like if I am showing up for them, like I need them to show up for me. I need them to be like, girl, like we see you, we see how like we made a promise to you, and then we completely underdelivered. Like I need them to show up. And they weren't showing up. And I was just like, what's the level of brand experience that you want me to have right now? Because right now I'm super disappointed, but you guys have been really kind. Like and I'm always that person. Why do I feel this way? Why am I like this? I'm always that person that when I'm calling like customer service or talking to anybody that is like in the service industry, I always feel like it's my job to be like their encouragement for the day. So I was like affirming this brand. I'm like, no, like y'all have been great. You've been so kind. There's a little bit of like a moment for us here, and it's that you took my money and didn't follow through with some like, I don't know, positive brand experience. And like I really try and like just be the most kind that I can, because it's not their fault personally. It's whatever policies that the brand made that they've now decided within their policies that they can no longer do anything for us. So yeah, that's what's going on in my life right now. And like I feel like with going back to what I was talking about before, because we went on a little tangent there, a little side quest. I feel like America needs to pick a plot line. Like, do you want us to be able to go or not go? Because the process is giving not go, but then when you're trying to get back into the States, it's also giving a not go. Like to get back into the US, I don't know why it was like, it felt like they had to look at all of my documents like 167 times. I'm like, I live here. Like I was born. Do you want me back? Like I don't know. I'm not feeling love. You didn't want me to go. You made me getting a passport an absolute nightmare. And then when I'm trying to get back in, you're also like, but are you actually like who you say you are? And I'm like, I already went through this. I thought this was done. I thought we wrapped this up at the passport office. Why am I doing this now again to just even get back home? Oh, I don't know. It's crazy. But so I'm in the like customer service like nightmare land of just trying to sort out all these different pieces that just all happen to happen at the same time. Like they all just collectively like bottlenecked right into this week. And that's part of the reason I feel like this is just a Truman Show. It's just for eyeballs, because how is this reality right now? How is there this many customer service like problems? I digress. So that is where I'm at today. And I was also thinking about where I was going to take the rest of this podcast this afternoon. And I have landed on this one topic. And I don't know if this is you or if this is just me, but like when I find an area of interest in like the true crime world, I just double down like a hyperfixation. Is it just me? I don't know. I've not met anybody else that does this, but like my hyperfixation in the true crime, psychological, like I love a true crime moment, please. Oh my God. I love true crime. I love watching documentaries. I love feeling like I am part of the jury. I am part of the team that is solving these problems. And it's probably because when I was younger, I wanted to be a CSI agent. This is how you know that children should not be picking their careers. I wanted to be a CSI agent because I was watching CSI show and I thought, this is it. These babes are showing up in like fitted leather jackets with like jewelry, and they are a moment. Like they walk on the scene and everyone just like gasps at like their amazing presence. And it wasn't until that I got to the episode where there was a crime on the show and the agent left her experience smelling like the crime scene, and I was like, excuse me, this is not for me. I didn't even enter the career. I saw that episode and I'm like, leaving smelling like the crime scene. Nah, that's not gonna work. Like that's what it was. It wasn't like the enormous amount of stress or the trauma of seeing these events. It was the crime scene. So my favorite little lane in this world is catfish people. I don't know what to call them. They're catfish. Like the show Catfish on MTV. It's that, but it is so much. Not the show. Like I've watched like some of the Catfish show. I mean the people. Like my number one catfish hyperfixation that I have like study. I could do a TED Talk. I could start my TED Talk right now is Elizabeth Holmes. Oh my goodness. I have watched everything that I can watch on Elizabeth Holmes. Like, tell me how this woman convinced everybody that she was doing all of these things and she wasn't. And she's just lying the whole time. And I feel like I probably have this because I have run across some villains in my own life who pretended to be somebody that they weren't. Oh, isn't that so weird? Isn't that like, oh, so unfortunate that they did that? Yes. And so now I feel like, I think it's like my trauma response is like, if I could just know why these people are doing this or how they're doing this, I'm set. Like, I don't have to worry about being catfish ever again because I will show up as the expert on catfish. Every single show, like Tinder Swindler, oh my God, on Netflix. I think it was on Netflix. The most insane story that I'm like, okay, so what was going on in the villain's mind? And like, how did he get all these people to believe this? So like going back to Elizabeth Holmes, she convinced for years billionaires just to like give her money. And she would just show up to this space like, yeah, I'm definitely, and she didn't talk like that. She actually like lowered her voice. So she'd be like, this is another thing. She lowered her voice. She changed her voice. And this is what helped convince people that she was like able to get this money because she lowered her voice so she sounded like more masculine. She should show up like, I don't even think I could do it. Yeah, guys. Yeah, so I'm like really good at, this is terrible, guys, I'm sorry. Like I'm really good at making these tools that you can test blood from a drop of blood. You don't need like a whole vial. You can just test it on one drop. Like that's how she would show up. And these men were like, take our money. We believe everything you're saying. We don't need to look at any documents that you're presenting. We just believe you and your super low voice. And I just want to know, like, what was she thinking? Like, what was happening? How did this happen? Like, it's so incredibly interesting to me. And like, my husband, like every time I'm like listening to another thing or whatever, he's like, oh, is it your girl? And I'm like, yes, Elizabeth. Like me and Elizabeth at this point, like I could do the whole TED Talk on exactly what happened start to finish. If you want me to give my rendition of like a podcast that's just on Elizabeth Holmes, I will lay it out for you in my most comedic, like amazing way. And now I guess I have Elizabeth Holmes voice. Watch that show up on my TikTok soon. So I'm like obsessed with it, and I feel like, am I the only one? And this is a question I ask myself all the time, is am I the only one that like does this? Because I have not met anyone else. I don't know anybody else that like has a podcast that is a content creator. Like I don't know anybody who's doing this stuff or even like is interested in those type of things. I know like true crime is something that's like fairly common, and I've obviously met friends that like that. But I don't know anybody that's like, I have an area of true crime that's like my area, my special area that I like, I'm really, really into and about. And I almost feel like it goes back to Disney. Watch me go down this road. It doesn't make sense right now. You're listening, you're like, girl, this has nothing to do with Disney. Watch how fast I connect this to Disney and connect this to my childhood. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. So if you don't want to know, this is your time. I'm giving you an offboarding time. Catfish connects to Disney because look at how many of the like very classic stories on Disney are catfish stories. We'll start off strong with Cinderella. Cinderella was not a princess. She was being abused and harmed in her house, and she dressed up and showed up as a completely different vibe and, you know, dance with the guy, and the guy's like, oh my God, I don't even remember her face. Like, red flag, Cinderella. Like, what are we doing, girl? Anyway, so Cinderella. Next, Aladdin. Aladdin was one of my favorite movies. Not my favorite, but one of them. Aladdin is the most catfish story of all, except for like Ariel, the actual fish. The actual fish. That catfish, her whole storyline is just catfishing. But think about Aladdin. Okay, so he's not wealthy at all, makes a wish. The wish doesn't turn him into a different person. It just gives him wealth and the seeming impression of power and all this stuff. And that is catfishing. He straight up catfished Jasmine so hard, and so did Ariel. Ariel was a fish. All of these childhood stories are all catfish stories, y'all. Like they all, and I've never heard anybody else say it. And I'm like, how are we not seeing this? How are we not having this conversation about how, like, as children, we're all like romanticizing, pretending to be someone else? Like, please, please do not. I cannot take it. I think that's one of my struggles that I've had. I know it's one of my struggles I've had, being online and like sharing so much of my life online and being in influencer world, I suppose, is that so much of my life is shared, and then I'm also looking at what other people are doing and being online and seeing how the different social media people are using it. It is, y'all, it is a moment for me when I see people posting online things that I know are not true. It does something. I think it just like, it touches that catfish place in me that's like, oh, that's a red flag, that's a red flag. The amount of times that I have known people's behind the scenes and what they're actually posting, oh man. And I get, like, we show up online, or we show up in our world online in a slightly different way because some people want to be more private, and that's totally fine. Like, I understand, like, not sharing every single part of your life. Like, that is totally reasonable and understandable. It's when people go way out the way, when they go way out of the way to tell a different story from the truth. I'm just like, I'm going to need y'all to tell the truth. I'm going to need y'all, like, I know the tea. I know the tea. I know the behind the scenes tea, and y'all are telling a completely different story. And it's just like just one of my pet peeves. I'm like, if you don't want to tell that he cheated, or like you cheated, or whatever, like, if you don't want to say it, that's totally fine. It's not everyone's business. I totally get that. But do not show up with the, oh my God, this is the best person I've ever met in my life. Like, they treat me like a queen. Like, they literally roll out the red carpet for me. I'm like, girl, didn't you just tell me like 3 days ago that like he was with somebody else? And like, please, like, just pull it back. That's all I'm saying. Like, you don't have to spill every tea online for our entertainment. But if you're gonna tell the story, if you're gonna tell half truth, don't go all the way in this like world that doesn't exist. It's so hard for me. I don't like. It's just so hard for me to see that. I think that has really shaped the way that I try and show up online. Of like, I really try and be the most genuine, the most authentic that I can be, with also like my own like privacy and my own privacy of my family or whatever they're going through. Like, I really, really am aware of that, and that's something that's really important to me. Like, my kids are not online without their consent. So if you're seeing any of my kids like photos, or if they show up in one of my TikToks, which they generally don't want to, and that's totally fine, every single thing that you see of my children online is with their consent, and that's like super important to me, and they know that. So that way they can live their life in our house and feel free to just be themselves and not feel like there's somebody always recording, or that I'm gonna make a piece of content out of their lives. Like, their lives are their lives and their privacy is their privacy, and I respect that. And that's the same thing with my husband. And that's actually a conversation I had with him when we first started dating, is that I said, listen, like, there's a lot of my life that is online. What's your comfort level with that? Are you cool with, being a part of that, as you feel comfortable? And that was a conversation I had very, very early on, because I knew that part of my world was going to be shared with other people. And he was totally cool with it. And we've had lots of conversations now, like, as I've grown too, that it's all about what they feel comfortable with. So if you see something that's online, that is them. They have given me their permission, and that's really important to me. And I'm really glad now, especially seeing what it's like to have a video go viral, and seeing what that's like to have the good, the bad, and the ugly of that happen. I'm really, really glad that my teenagers have not been a part of that. And I guess as we're talking about it, we'll talk about it now. So it is a really interesting experience to have a piece of content go viral. First of all, it is so exciting. It is so much fun. It is really, really unique experience. And I'm so grateful for everybody that has like supported videos and given them love. Like, that is something that I'm just still like so in shock of. I still can't believe that this has happened, and it's happened many times. And I'm just like filled with gratitude. And at the same level that there's love and people really feeling inspired, or people that are just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Thank you for sharing this. This gave something to me, which is why I even create content in the first place. But at the same level, there's that. The more views, or the faster it goes viral, it is met with the alternate of that. I have found that honestly TikTok has been a lot safer for me personally. And when I say safer, I just mean like not as harsh comments as some of the other social medias. So it's really interesting because when a video goes viral, there will be something that I call them trolls, or something that trolls will get connected to, whether it's the way I look, or just something in the video that they felt like they didn't like. So I'll give you an example. My daughter's room video went viral. She was not in the video at all. I was just making over her room. I had full permission from her to do it. We were doing it together, but she didn't want to be in the video, and I totally respected that. So I made the video. This is my most viral video, was her room going viral for doing a DIY makeover, and I spent $0. So when that video went viral, I had a lot of people commenting and telling me what a bad mom I was for making over my daughter's room without her permission. And it was so crazy to get those comments, because what I knew was she asked for the room makeover. She planned the room makeover with me. Every single thing that I did for her, we did together. Cleaning out her room, we did together. Like, everything was her and I doing it, but they didn't see her in the video. And so they assumed that I had gone into her room, that I went through all of her belongings, that I gutted her room, took out all the things that are important to her, and just did this without her. And I could understand if that were the reality of it. I could understand why that would be like concerning, like, hey, unless you get permission from your kid, what are you doing in their space, doing this for them? Or unless you understand that this is something that your kid would like, which my kids would absolutely love it if I did that for them. They love when I'm in their space and making it better or cleaning it. Like, they are pro that. But it was interesting to see the comments on that video be, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I love this. This is so inspiring. I want to do this to mine. And then also, you are a terrible parent. How dare you do this? This is total privacy invasion for her. How could you take out all the things that made her room look amazing? Like, you made it look awful. They had so much personality before, and now it looks terrible. And those kind of comments would be really hard for a kid to deal with. And that's part of the internet. That's part of going viral. Every single video that's ever gone viral, there is the flip side of the positive. There's always negative comments, and I've learned that it's really important to take care of yourself mentally and understand that your value, my value doesn't come from the good comments or the bad comments, and really be grounded in that. And I really, really learned that when I had an account on Instagram take one of my TikTok videos that I'd done really well and repost it on their Instagram. And I went over to that post just to look at it, just to oh my gosh, that's so cool. They reposted something, that's great. Wanted to see what they posted. The comments on that video, y'all, oh my gosh, I have never had so many people say so many negative things consecutively all at the same time. And it was about the way I looked. That is what they were upset about. They were like, it's not the room that needs a makeover, you need a makeover. I was like, oh my God, I can't do this. I'm not gonna go over and read Instagram comments anymore once it gets posted on Instagram, because I have not had that level of intense hate from a TikTok video. I'll get comments I was telling you about before, trolls and stuff, but not at that level. Not where they're personally attacking my looks and who I am as a person, and just in a very different way than you're a bad mom, you should have included your kid. It was you are a terrible person, you are so ugly, you need a makeover and we hate you. I'm okay, so my new boundary for myself is I don't read the comments on other people's Instagram. I read them on mine, but I don't go and find my content and read the comments on Instagram, because it was so crazy. So I have this really I have this really passionate belief that for at least my children, I am really pro them not being on social media in that way where you're getting a lot of views or a lot of comments, because I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine as a 14 or 15-year-old seeing people, because I was already so insecure, like I was already not chosen, I was already feeling like the goofy sidekick. I can't even imagine strangers telling me how ugly I am. Like, what? Like, I can't even imagine. Or like I was posting videos about my moles, which I have so many moles, and I have like had to learn to embrace them over the years. And like I have a mole on my lip that I put glitter on now, so it looks like a piercing. So I'm like learning to embrace me, learning to embrace myself, loving myself and the body that I'm in. And I've had so many people comment about how I need to go and have surgery on my face to remove things that I was born with. And so I think those kinds of things have really shaped the way that I want to give kindness and give love and build content and media that is pro loving yourself and is pro kindness and is pro supporting other creators. Like, it really, really matters. If you're seeing somebody online of a creator that you love and that their content has given something to them, please leave a comment for them. It really goes a long way. Doing what we do and giving so much, it can be really challenging sometimes because we do have the flip side, right? So we do have the times where we're getting trolls or we're getting people that are attacking like what we're making or what we're doing. And so it really gives back to us to hear from people that are enjoying what we do. So please go comment on your favorite creators. Send them love and support because they absolutely need it. I need it. I know that they need it, and it really goes a long way and just sharing love and showing love. But that's my experience in going viral. And like I said, like, it's such an incredible thing, and I love it, and it's so fun every time that it happens. And it's been incredible to make content, but it definitely isn't for everyone, and that is totally okay. And there's been a lot of work that I've had to do, and I know that is like really important work for all of us, of just getting to know yourself, getting to know what's right for you, learning to love yourself, embracing those parts about yourself that you have maybe not shared love to yourself in the past. But also showing up real online and not coming out with the catfish energy. I just feel like at this point, I just should call them out. Like, I'm not going to, because I get so much anxiety from like confrontation. Like, oh my gosh, like I'm that person that if somebody looks at me like the wrong way, or if somebody like even implies that I've done something wrong, my internal state at this time is like goo. Like, I am working so hard to like remind myself that it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to not show up in the absolute best way every single time, because that's the human experience. But oh my gosh, like, please don't ever be mad at me. Like, please don't ever like be mad at me or like be upset with me. Like, please don't ever do that, because I just like feel like goo on the inside. But in any case, I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for listening today. And I'm really excited about continuing this conversation and giving you guys something to look forward to in our little ridiculous story time chats. I hope the next time I talk to you, my son actually has a passport, but if he doesn't, you know where to find me. You know where to find me. You're going to find me on TikTok making fun of the ridiculousness of these different agencies that promise us the world and give us nothing. Okay, love you.